Alright, comrades. I have a confession to make. Something's been bothering me lately. Something that came to a head when I watched Thoughtslime and Non-Compete's most recent videos. This has been going on the left for a long time, but these two videos really put it into focus. I'm talking about this instant capitulation to absurd criticisms and accusations.
Blink once if you're Hitler. Oh my god!
And funnily enough, it's usually directed towards the most progressive and woke lefties around. And I know the left's favorite enemies are liberals like Jonathan Haidt and Sam Harris, but they're not wrong when they point out that the left eats itself, more so than they eat the rich. And of course the rich are who we should be eating. And I'm fully anticipating being eaten alive right after I post this video. So stay tuned for that. But I know all this sounds kind of vague, so let's just go through some of their videos to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so first some background information. Non-Compete did a video called the Pewdie Pipeline a while back. PewDiePie recently made a couple videos responding to some of the criticism he's received, not directly from Non-Compete, but just in general. And he even took some responsibility, to which Non-Compete made a response video acknowledging some of the positive steps PewDiePie had taken. And this video is a response to the negative feedback he got from the last video.
So let's get started. So first we'll go through some comments that are about the PewDiePie quick rise that I did just a few days ago. And the first one says, I never liked him, and the only people I see that keep giving him a break are white people. Stop it, white people.
You never liked him. Well, nobody cares. PewDiePie is funny. That's just a fact. If you don't want to forgive him, that's on you. PewDiePie not only gave a sincere apology, but he's actually changed his ways. Jesus said turn the other cheek. I find it pretty interesting that it's those of us on the left calling for prison reform and giving criminals a real shot at a second chance. But when it comes to crimes of social justice, there is no quarter given and no room for redemption. You fucking sound exactly like right-wingers. You know that?
The next comment is in the same vein. This person said, white people love giving other white people the benefit of the doubt. This Pew guy was following right-wing propagandists on Twitter.
First of all, following anti-SJW edgelords is not a crime. It's stupid, but it's not a crime. PewDiePie is the equivalent of a 15-year-old shit disturber. He comes from the world of gaming and memes, not the Third Reich. Here's a shocker for you. You can be a progressive, a leftist, a Marxist, even an anarchist, and still think SJWs are fucking ridiculous.
You should be fucking ashamed of yourself. You're fucking scum. You are fucking scum. Fucking rape apologist, incest supporting, woman hating, fucking scum.
Is it stupid to make all your content about them? Yes. Is it stupid to think that SJWs are the downfall of Western civilization? Also yes. But a lot of them are boring and terrible.
All white people need to read about a guy named Neville Chamberlain and what appeasement is.
Yeah, how about all YouTube commenters need to read a book called The Dictionary and look into what appeasement means? And what is this shit about white people giving other white people the benefit of the doubt? All races give each other the benefit of the doubt. All ethnicities give each other the benefit of the doubt. All sexes, all genders, all in-groups, all friends. In fact, all humans love forgiveness. Why don't you?
And then we had another similar comment saying, white people stay forgiving each other for racism. The dude used a hard R N-word. Fuck him. How about you wait for the actual minorities in question to weigh in?
Congratulations! You win the award for not understanding why young people use outrageous language. If you're a grown-ass man and in your youth you hadn't passed out drunk and had dicks and swastikas drawn in permanent marker all over your face, you don't know what youth is. And before you recite to me PewDiePie's age, I don't care. He's a gamer, he's not an adult. There's a big difference between using a word as a weapon and using a word for its obscenity. Does that mean it's fine to go around yelling the N-word? No. But it does mean that when you get called out for it, and you apologize and stop doing it, there should be room for forgiveness. The punishment should fit the crime.
And this is really getting into the meat of what we're going to be talking about. And I had a little bit more of an exchange with this person again, and they followed it by saying, Felix gave a bullshit half-assed apology when he straight called a dude an N-word live on stream, and like a day later, white people are going, oh, we forgive you, while me and mine are sitting there like, what's all this we bullshit?
When PewDiePie and people like him do things like paying Indians to hold up signs saying kill all Jews, it's not because they think it's funny to kill all Jews. It's funny because it's absurd. It's funny because racism and sexism are absurd and stupid, and only stupid people believe those things. And the one thing that's always going to be funny is stupid people with stupid beliefs. Those Disney cartoons from the 40s that make fun of Hitler and the Nazis, they're funny because Nazis are stupid. Now, before you go lunging for the comment section and tell me that Nazis and racists and sexists are real threats to your life, the fact that they are means you should laugh at them. Just ask the Jews. There's literally an entire documentary on Jewish Holocaust humor. It's cathartic and empowering. Relax. And as for this waiting for the minorities in question to weigh in first, non-compete isn't forgiving PewDiePie on behalf of all black people. That's not what he's doing. In fact, he's not even forgiving him. He's just acknowledging PewDiePie's desire to change.
This next comment was actually from a white person. So this one says,
that you should go suck on a monkey's nipple. What are you waiting for? Go find a monkey, jabroni.
he has already been given a million chances. He would need to do more to clean up his act. Subscribe to PewDiePie was the last thing many people have heard before they were shot because they were born Jewish.
A, that's not his fault. B, he just ended the subscribe to PewDiePie meme.
If this doesn't fuck with him to the point that he deletes the channel and fights directly against these actions, then he is not sorry. He is getting people to shut up.
Again, it did fuck with him, and why on earth should he get rid of his channel? That's stupid.
But the fact is, I'm a white male and so are you. Neither of us should have any say as to the forgiveness of him. Let that be decided by the people who are suppressed. I honestly wonder if it crossed your mind that it isn't your say. I'm not attacking you by saying this. So I really did want to address this issue, and I wanted to talk about, you know, when white people like myself should be taking a back seat and doing more listening than talking. And this could very well be a situation like that.
No, it's not. You are literally the one who made the original criticism against PewDiePie in the first place. You have every right, nay, a duty, to follow up on what's going on with his channel. You have just as much right as anyone else to talk about this issue, and actually more so because you're informed on it. Your commentary does not suppress the commentary of others. You have the platform. You have a responsibility to use that platform responsibly, which is exactly what you did. And how exactly does taking a back seat, also known as shutting the fuck up, accomplish anything? Who's winning there? Well, here's who's winning. It's the people earning virtue points by calling out popular YouTubers and getting them to respond to their absurd accusations and critiques.
Maybe it was premature for me to talk about these issues.
Nope, not at all.
Maybe I should have talked to a lot more people of color than I did. I mean, I did talk to a few people that I'm really close to, including Luna, who's, not white, and some other comrades as well.
Can we just take a minute to appreciate the fact that these people have him literally listing his colored friends here? Like, this is textbook, I'm not racist because I have black friends. Except the hyper-progressive Vampire Castle version of that.
To kind of just get a feel for what they thought about these things. But, maybe that wasn't enough, and maybe I shouldn't have said anything at all.
Yeah, shut up, white man. You have no right to say anything.
The only two things that you two candy asses should concern yourself with is this. Is your role, know it. Your mouth, shut it.
That seems like a reasonable thing to demand of somebody based on their skin color alone.
The reason that I even said anything at all to begin with about this whole PewDiePie response or apology video or whatever you want to call it, there are a few reasons. Number one is that I made 2 videos about the PewDie pipeline, as I called it, where I talked at length about PewDiePie and how I felt PewDiePie should be responding and what PewDiePie needs to do to sort of address and atone for some of the actions and speech and behavior of himself and to try to combat a lot of the toxicity of his audience.
Yeah, rightfully so. And you did a great job. But seriously guys, this is the cringiest apology / over explanation I've ever seen.
This point that's been made over and over to me that, as a white person, I should just be kind of sitting back and listening and letting the people of color lead the discussion here. It's a fair point.
No, it isn't. This is YouTube, not a classroom.
So I do feel like there is a role for white men like myself to play.
Whoa there, David Duke. Step off, check your privilege.
In taking ideas that I've learned and picked up, and since picked up from people of color and trans people and that sort of thing, and kind of packaging it and translating it and presenting it to other white men.
Right, because of course the white members of your lefty progressive audience would have no means of deciphering the speech of any colored person. So thank God, non-compete, you were able to decipher what would otherwise be completely unintelligible gibberish from someone not white.
Was it appropriate for me to make the video talking about PewDiePie?
Yes!
Maybe one of the reasons that I am inclined to give, I don't want to say give PewDiePie a chance.
Is it because you're a regular, non-ridiculous human?
It's because I don't really see it that way. I see it as, all that I see it as, and maybe I should have explained this better in the last video.
Nope, you did it fine the first time.
I saw it as a step forward in a situation with an individual who I have never seen take a real meaningful step forward. This was the first time that I've ever seen PewDiePie do anything that rang even remotely sincerely. So to me, it was remarkable in that sense. And when I say remarkable, I mean like worthy of remarking on in that sense.
How fucking dare you remark on such a thing? The nerve. Is it just me, or is anyone else getting George Bridges vibes from Non-Compete?
I think their concerns are legitimate. They're articulating ideas that have to do with race, ethnicity, power, privilege, and we're taking a look at them.
That's my problem, George. You keep doing these little hand movements or whatever.
Come through.
People were criticizing you for using hand gestures.
Absolutely, they were. And you know,
That seems crazy to people from the outside of Evergreen.
It may, but it's noise.
But the noise has been effective.
No, fuck you, George. We don't want to hear a goddamn thing you have to say.
So you don't have to watch that door, watch all the doors, watch the windows. You need to keep eyes on them. And somebody needs to go in that room real quick to make sure that there's no way to get nothing for them.
I mean, essentially sounded like you're being held hostage there. If you were going to go to the bathroom, you had to go with...
I felt very safe there. Why what?
Why did they want to escort you to the bathroom?
I don't know.
Did you ask them?
No, of course not.
Of course not. Couldn't be possible that these people might be acting in bad faith.
A student told me that you're a white supremacist.
I don't believe I am. I'm
You
a
don't
white
believe
person.
you are, but you accept that you might be.
Well, it depends on what you mean by a white supremacist.
It's starting to all sound pretty familiar, isn't it?
Okay, so there's like this common kind of slogan on the left, which is that like all white people are racist. I heard that a lot when I was first coming into leftism, and it bristled me a lot at first because I was like, I'm white and I don't like hate black people. I don't hate, foreigners. I don't like think that they're lesser people. But the more I dived into things, the more I realized like when we say all white people are racist, we're just saying that all white people benefit from racism, which is to say that there are just certain things that we don't suffer from, certain situations we don't find ourselves in, and certain advantages that we have, in society.
Then why don't you just say that? Why are you so married to the phrase all white people are racists, if it's indeed as confusing as you say it is?
It's kind of irresponsible to make the claim that you're just like, I don't have a racist bone in my body, that kind of thing. Most of us, all of us do.
Non-Compete sees that no mercy is given to people like PewDiePie. So in order to appease the angry mob and avoid getting eaten alive, as a white guy on the progressive left, he pays lip service by declaring his own deep-seated and unavoidable racism. Because if all white people are inherently racist, then really any mistakes he makes are out of his control. He's just being what he is. So Non-Compete and people like him are forced to play this game of accepting all criticism and pretending to take it seriously and pretending that it's all valid.
I will never say again, like I used to say, like I'm just completely not racist. I don't have a racist bone in my body. That's just like the way that I understand the concept of racism now as a leftist. I just don't think that can be true.
Even if, at some level, it's perfectly true. Is this really the message we want to run with? It just doesn't really have a nice ring to it. Vote Anarcho-Communism 2020, because all white people are racist. Ask yourselves, does spreading this message really help us achieve the socialist utopia? Or are we just inciting disdain among people who might otherwise be receptive to the cause? But there's another reason why this message is not helpful. As Non-Compete points out, when we say things like all white people are racist, what we're really talking about is privilege. And fine, white men have privilege. But constantly fixating on who's got more privilege over who serves nobody but the 0.1%. Our real enemy. We're down here squabbling over whose set of nice teeth gets afforded better job opportunities and whose hip-to-waist ratio gets more lifelong positive social attention, while our overlords are laughing it up on yachts in southern France. Their goal is to restrict the scope of class conflict, to bring it down to as low a level as possible. The smaller and more local the political unit, the easier it is to run the oligarchy. So why turn inward? Why argue over who's got the sweeter deal and how we're all responsible for the gross inequality of society, when the difference is not that much more than a tiny sliver compared to the gap between us and the billionaires at Davos sipping wine and rubbing shoulders with the politicians? Right now, I can tell someone out there is thinking, why not do both? Sure, let's. But here's the thing. If you're the type of person to post YouTube comments chastising leftist creators for their privilege, you ain't doing both. You're just collecting virtue points. When all your time energy is focused on your comrades, there's not much left for your real enemy, is there? Eyes up, fam. Well, it's time now to see how Thoughtslime does on his video on white identity.
I mean, I'm going to do my best, but I think it's fair to assume that I'm going to fuck it up in some ways.
What? No, it's not. You've already demonstrated that you bring very insightful critiques and observations to the table. Why would I assume you would fuck it up? I can't for the life of me. Where have I heard this before?
And I will probably make mistakes and mess this up for a long time, or possibly for the rest of my life.
Just to review here, Non-Compete didn't get anything wrong, and Thoughtslime doesn't in this video either. And yet they're both pre-apologizing as if they know deep down they're going to be attacked for what they say, no matter what. You know, I get the feeling that these progressive creators don't feel safe to speak their mind. Like LeftTube isn't a safe space.
And I'm not saying that because I think you should go easy on me or not criticize me, but to point out that there are a whole lot of people who have a much more relevant perspective on this issue. I've listed some of them in the description, so if you'd rather not hear a white dude lecture you on this bullshit, and who could blame you, you have options.
I see what's going on here. You don't think that you're the best person to talk about white identity because you're white? Makes sense, I guess. And sure, it might be true that people from other perspectives might have something more interesting to say. That doesn't mean, however, that we should assume your perspective wouldn't be enlightening or is somehow inherently less valuable than theirs. And yet you're going to talk about it anyway. So what was the point of all that?
The question arises, hey, what gives you, Thoughtslime, a noted white person, the right to talk about this at all?
Number one, you've done the reading and clearly have some knowledge on the subject. Number two, you are a human. Number three, you're well-spoken and have a large audience, so why not use that platform to spread the message? Seems like a win-win for everybody here. But here's a better question. What gives anyone else the right to say you can't talk about something you're interested in or that you've done research on?
Well, I think the things I'm going to criticize in this video are largely things within my experience. I can't speak to the experience of Black people or First Nations people or Asian people, but I can talk about the white experience from a white perspective.
Oh, so it's okay for you to talk about things only insofar as you've experienced some of it directly. I see. You're right, Thoughtslime. From here on out, no white person, nay, no any person, shall ever discuss any topic from outside of their direct experience ever because reasons.
It's possible that I misjudged, and if so, I'm sorry.
So just in case future you does get offended, current Thoughtslime apologizes. He's so scared, oh my god.
I recognize that I am not at all an authority on this subject, and I hope that this video is the start of a more fruitful discussion than I am capable of providing on my own.
Wow, that was a great video. Very insightful, thoughtful. In fact, I liked it so much that I decided to add it to my playlist. So what the hell was that cringy preamble for? And what does it say about the left that we feel like we have to do this every time we talk about a potentially sensitive issue? Is it really that we're all just trying to be respectful of marginalized groups? Or maybe is it that we're a little scared because deep down we know that a lot of us on the progressive left are crazy, virtue signaling, keyboard jockey, attention whores.
Two options. Go inside. Go home. That's it. I don't have time for anything else. I am too tired. This shit is literally going to kill me.
Do you have a time for an apology?
Go inside.
So let's be honest about why we're making these ridiculous concessions before we've even said anything. Our problem on the left isn't that too many white people are talking about issues that marginalized people face. Our problem is unreasonable people making unreasonable demands for personal gain. These are bad faith actors. Nothing more, nothing less. We need not give them any of our attention. It just makes us look silly and ridiculous every time we capitulate to these out-for-blood identity grifters. This isn't at all to say we should be more like the right and just ignore all criticism. I'm saying the left has a real problem with call-out culture and finger-wagging as social capital in the progressive prestige economy, even when the critiques appear to be honest. There are valid criticisms to be made about a lack of diverse voices, but are Thoughtslime and Non-Compete really the guys holding it back? These are two of the wokest motherfuckers on the planet. Give them a break. Cheese and rice. We have truth on our side. We have morality on our side. Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't couch every statement in some ethereal apology. Be bold. If we spend a little less time on the left trying to prove our wokeness and a little more time on class consciousness and solidarity, we might actually get somewhere. Okay gang, now it's time to give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Give me a thumbs down if you think every video essay requires a 20-minute preamble of apology for all the pretend feelings that aren't going to be hurt. And finally, consider becoming a patron if you are a closeted, well-adjusted human who lives in fear of the purity police.
You know, I think the reign is actually a lot like communism. When you think about it, at first it sounds really nice, but once you actually get out into it, it is even better!